Hi and welcome. This video is going to be about one of the best boys in the Stormlight Archives. I won't say in the cosmere because I have not read it all, but as far as the Stormlight books are concerned, I think Adolin Kholin is one of the most likable. He is so handsome, he's so skilled, he's so capable and honorable, and all these things that a prince should be. I don't think there's a lot of reason not to like him. So why isn't he more people's favorite character? He's favorite character worthy material, but that is something I'll get to a little bit later. First, spoilers being such the huge deal that they are in the Cosmere books, I am going to give a big spoiler warning. I'll be talking about Adolin from the first 3 books, but I will give sequential spoiler warnings. So I'll talk about him from book 1 first, then book 2, then book 3. So if you've only read The Way of Kings so far, you are safe to watch until I say spoilers for book 2, and so on and so forth. So I have a couple of theories on why he is not the favorite character of more people. One of them is that when we first meet him on that Chasm Fiend hunt, he's not a main viewpoint character. We kind of follow him and see his interactions between his brother and his father, but most of the story is not told from his point of view. The point of view characters we do get, Kaladin and Dalinar, get more attention. We see deeper into their hearts, which makes them more relatable, which means we love them more. And the other reason that I think he's not a favorite character, or that he's not one of the most relatable characters that we get, where's his trauma? So many Stormlight Archive books have just been through it. You know, they are suffering so much. They've been brought so low in their lives. And Adolin just appears, on surface level at least, to be so well adjusted. How does this happen? His mother is out of the picture. His father was the Blackthorn. You don't come out of that unscathed. So where is his struggle? Why isn't he suffering internally more? And I just think that not a lot of people really relate to a handsome, skilled, well-adjusted prince. At least I don't. But even in that first chapter that we see him in, we get to know a lot of little details about him. We know that he loves his father and brother. We know that he is loyal to Dalinar, even if he doesn't always agree with Dalinar on some pretty basic stuff, like Dalinar's vision for the future of Alethkar. He also holds Dalinar to a different standard than Dalinar holds himself to. So Dalinar was the Blackthorn, and with that comes a certain reputation that Adolin would love to see his father living up to more. So when they go on this Chasm Fiend hunt, and Adolin gets to see how Dalinar fights, he's like, yes! There's that fighter, there's that warrior. Where is he when we need him during all the politics side of Alethi life? And from right away getting to know Adolin, we see the person he seems to hate the most. And no, it's not himself like our friend Cal. It's Sadeas. And when you have read this book, you also probably hate Sadeas the most, right? Book 1 has the huge betrayal. If you don't end reading book 1 hating Sadeas along with Adolin, then who are you? But let me tell you the things that I loved the most about Adolin in the first book. One of them being his kindness. I don't think he always feels like being kind, but he was taught good, and he is a gentleman, and especially when we see him with the prostitute, the way he defends her, I think that was a good way of showing his innate goodness, and the fact that he did it where Kaladin could see, because at this point in the book we're kind of seeing things from Kaladin's point of view, and seeing Adolin behave that way goes to show that maybe some of these Bright Lords have a good side. At least this one does. And another thing that I like about Adolin is his competency. His chosen calling for his life is the art of dueling, and he is very good at it. He's also pretty competent with the way he interacts with other people. Most people in his fictional world like him and interact well with him. And if we're talking about qualities, I'm gonna have to say one of the things that I'm not so fond of about Adolin. As a woman, I don't really like seeing how he just kind of goes from woman to woman. He never seems to really care deeply about any of them. They're just kind of like a thing to do or a thing to stoke his vanity to make him feel good. So if I were to see him in real life and see how he interacted with women, I'd go, don't talk to me. And coming back to his hatred, this is one of the big, deep emotions we see of him in the first book, how he feels about Sadeas. At the end, he doesn't want to trust Sadeas at all. He hates him, he's not trustworthy, he's trying so hard to convince his father not to trust Sadeas, and Dalinar's like, no, me and Sadeas, we have an understanding, we might not like each other that much anymore, but we're working together for the benefit of the king. We both love Elokar, he's Gavilar's son, we're for him. And Adolin's like, yeah, whatever. Well, Adolin was right. When they're in the battle after Sadeas' betrayal, he basically yells, I told you so! But he doesn't blame Dalinar. He's mature enough to realize it's not Dalinar's fault. Sadeas is the betrayer, he's the one to blame here. So at this point, he's probably feeling super justified in his hate of Sadeas. He was right. Sadeas is a terrible person. And I think sometimes we all feel that way a little bit when you hate somebody and then you see them do something bad and you're like, I knew it. And then you feel bad for feeling that way because you don't want to be that kind of person. Oh, and also during this battle is when he first meets Kaladin, and Kaladin runs up and gives him orders and expects Adolin to obey. What now? And thus, friendship is born. So after the betrayal, Bridge 4 comes and saves them. They get back, and I love the joyful reunion between Adolin and Renarin. They are close as brothers, and I love seeing their close relationship. Adolin never ever thinks, ugh, my weird brother, how embarrassing. No, he loves Renarin very much. And when Adolin sees that there's possibly a confrontation about to happen between Dalinar and Sadeas, oh boy, he is there. As soon as he sees Dalinar summoning his sword, Adolin is eager to summon his as well. He will rush to defend the Blackthorn with justice to Sadeas in a heartbeat. Or 10. And unfortunately, this is not Adolin's chance to bring justice to Sadeas. Dalinar tells him to back off. I've got this handled. And here is where I say end of book 1. Spoilers for book 2. Beware. Words of Radiance. We get to know Adolin a bit better here, which I am really glad of because I did get to like him in book 1, and now we get to see more of who he is as a person. So, one thing we get to see is how he interacts with women. He has probably spent from his early young manhood just believing that girls like him. He's so likable, he's so kind, he's so strong. Why would any girl who had a chance at him not take their chance with him? But you'll probably notice that he never spends very long with any one girl. He doesn't actually know how to have a relationship with a girl. I wouldn't necessarily call him a player, more like clueless. It's one thing to date somebody, it's another thing to have a relationship with somebody. Relationships grow over time, and he never spends that much time with any one girl. And while his confidence on having girls like him is probably pretty high, I'm gonna take a guess that his confidence in girls liking him for himself is not actually very strong. Because girls who like him never spend the time getting to know him as a person. What they see is the handsome prince. They don't see all the things that make him into the person that he is. So I'm also going to take a bit of guess here and say that when he finds out he's betrothed to this girl he's never met, it's probably almost a relief. when he does meet her, he doesn't have to try to win her or impress her or any of those things. She's just already gonna be his. His fiance. All right, cool. Yay, easy peasy, right? Except that girl is Shallan, so it's not quite what he expects. When he first beholds Shallan, he is struck by her beauty, which obviously has nothing to do with her light weaving. She's just so beautiful. But even after meeting her later, he still kind of likes her and thinks she's pretty nice. It is a little off-putting to him that she doesn't fall all over him like what he's used to. So winning her over is not so easy. Oh, we're already engaged. Easy peasy. No, you still have to get to know her as a person, and it's going to take a little work on your part. Luckily, he is up for the task. Although he does not expect her to trick him into talking about poop. But it breaks the ice a little bit, and he starts to realize that Shallan is not falling all over him because she is interested in getting to know who he is as a person, and he's not used to girls liking him for who he is. It's a little surprising, but kind of nice. And I'm gonna be honest, they have some cringy moments, but who doesn't when they first start dating? It's part of the process. And I've got to say, it's really fun to see Adolin unleashed as a duelist. He himself is super excited. Part of their plan, part of their political maneuvering is that Adolin is going to go through and beat people and take their shards so that they are in control of more shard plate and more swords. And they are pretty confident that they can rely on this plan because Adolin is so good. He is good at what he does, and usually he wins. And remember earlier when I said he was not super smart with girls? Apparently when he's really upset and angry, he's also not the best decision maker because he gets himself tricked into fighting in quite an unfair match. And we all know, because we've all read the books, that the chapter with the duel is one of the best chapters, right? Adolin is so amazing, they know they can't beat him in a fair fight. So they stack the odds unfairly against him. And a lot of people look at this chapter as like one of their favorite parts for Kaladin. The whole honor is dead, but I'll see what I can do thing. Yes, great Kaladin moment. But I mean, Adolin is 4 against 1. The fact that they thought they had to have 4 to beat this one guy speaks pretty highly of Adolin. And oh my goodness, more emotional, I think, than Kaladin jumping in is Renarin jumping in. Renarin, tomato. Renarin is not a duelist. He's not much of a fighter. He's been having some trouble getting used to his shard plate and his sword. He probably couldn't even take on one of those guys, and now he's jumping in out of love for his brother. Oh yeah, nobody hurts my brother except me. But this is a fight where the stakes are high. You as the reader are looking at this thinking, how dare you trick him? How dare you stack this fight? He's like the underdog now, and we're cheering him on because we want him to win so badly. But they win. The plan works. Adolin is supposed to ask for a boon, and along comes this bridge boy who comes and spoils the moment. Kaladin comes in and ruins the plan, gets locked up, and let me tell you, if you were not won over by Adolin joining in the punishment of Kaladin, again, I say, who are you? And let's be honest, by this point in Words of Radiance, you probably care a lot about Kaladin. He just stepped in to be the heroic figure to help Adolin, who he doesn't much like right now, and Adolin chooses to stand in solidarity with him. What a stand-up guy he is, huh? And now we are able to start loving this character. I love Adolin now. You probably do too. Then, boom, murder. So, I don't know, but I feel like this is probably a little bit of a divisive thing because we all hate Sadeas now almost as much as Adolin does. So it feels really good to see him taken care of. But Adolin is so good, and he does this atrocious act, and we don't want to see Adolin turning to the evil side. We want to see him continuing to make good choices and being the heroic figure, not be a murderer, no matter how much the other guy might have deserved it. And let me just say this little thing, you can tell me if you agree or disagree with this, but so far we have seen the good, wonderful son of High Prince Dalinar, and in this moment, he proves himself to also be the son of the Blackthorn. Yeah, he's got that side to him too. He just usually holds it in check better. And in this moment where Sadeas is confronting him and it's just those two alone, there's no one to hold Adolin in check. He is a passionate man, and in this instance, he gives into it. So please, tell me what you think of this moment for Adolin. Does this spoil his character for you? Does it make you root for him more? Is he now like not such a goody two-shoes? Now you can relate to him more because he finally did something human and gave into his anger? I don't know. Tell me what you think. We're also gonna get to spoilers for book 3 now. So if you've not read book 3, bye, come back later. And now book 3, Oathbringer. I wouldn't say that there's actually that much character development for him in book 3 as much as we just get to know him better. So things that we do see that you could probably count as character development are his relationship with Shallan. So they go from this kind of flirtatious, let's try to get to know each other, to, okay, we're getting married, now we really have to get to know each other and work together. They have some sweet moments, some awkward moments. He's gonna teach her how to duel. So sweet. But he's really struggling with the fact that he can see her eyeballing Kaladin. What's up with that? And he is so good. He's willing to let Kaladin have her if that's what will make her happy. Okay, so earlier, it was true that she probably felt like she didn't deserve him because he is the son of a high prince and she's just this little country girl who's still a light eyes but not that high socially. And then it kind of flip-flops to, oh, now she is a knight radiant, and now Adolin is struggling with the fact that he's not as high as her and maybe he doesn't deserve her. So they kind of both just need to get over themselves, I think. They're getting married, deal with it. Don't look at each other's jobs or social status, look at the other person. I think they're doing okay with that, but there's a lot of things in their lives that make that hard. And he does feel guilt about Sadeas. Not a ton. He feels like he made the right choice. I think the guilt stems more from the fact that he's hiding it and not being open and honest about it. But he does use this experience as something that brings him closer to Shallan because she shows hesitance opening up all the way to him, and he's able to say, hey, I'm not perfect. I killed somebody. I love seeing his care for Maya. That's another thing that I think makes him go up in people's estimation of what kind of person he is. Also, he goes to Shadesmar. He's not a Knight Radiant. I just had some technical difficulties. My lighting might look a little different, but let's get back into it. I believe we were in Shadesmar, and Adolin gets thrown into this new weird magic spren world that he's not been part of. And this is a super weird and super new thing for him, but it doesn't faze him too much. He takes it like a champ. He does struggle with feeling a little useless. The skills that he has don't really come in handy in Shadesmar. He's not going and dueling any spren. He kind of has to lean on Shallan and Kaladin to get through here. He's not used to that. He doesn't really like that, but he makes it through, and I think he's a stronger and better person for it once he does make it through. He struggles a bit with his jealousy of Kaladin. He can see that he himself is not really cut out for the world he's in right now. He does have to find his place in this new world of spren and magic. And they do get through Shadesmar. They get back home to a real physical fight, which is something he knows how to do. And at the end, Adolin gets to marry his lovely lady, and they live happily ever after. Just kidding. There's still a book 4 and a book 5. And I will be back with more on Adolin and Shallan and the rest of the crew in some Book 4 videos. Thank you for watching this video. I have more Stormlight Archive content, among other fantasy and sci-fi characters and book reviews. Subscribe to see more content coming up, and I'll see you next time. Bye!